Hello guys. I just wanted to make a quick video because I just saw something that really upset me. We are basically losing our online spaces. No, we're not losing it. We've lost it. We've lost the internet when it comes to our places that we go to for inspiration. They are being flooded by AI images, and I think this is a problem. I just went onto Pinterest to look for some character design inspiration, just to get a quick feel for inspiration. So I typed in apprentice and master. Like, I wish I could show what it was like before, the results that would come up before versus now. So the first image, the very first image, like going straight in, is an AI generated image. Not a very good one at that. Let's have a look at this. Like, the tools are just like, no, he's got his hand out and he's got the tool there that looks like he's about to cut his hand. Like, both of them are about to cut their hand, because of course the AI generator doesn't understand what it's looking at. It's just collecting a bunch of images together that are all just, they're cutting their own hands. That's what it looks like. And any artist would know not to do that, to make it like that, right? It's stupid. It's really stupid. And it's not good. And it's the most generic crap I've ever seen. This is the most generic crap you could ever come up with. And Pinterest didn't used to be like this. It wasn't like this before. You would find really innovative character designs, things from illustrators, like really imaginative things that would spark your imagination straight away. Right? But it gets worse. It gets worse the further on. Pinterest has always had this kind of crap. Like, this is completely irrelevant. I put in apprentice and master into Pinterest, and the second image is a 3D model of a girl, like a sexualized girl. Okay, whatever. That might have been typical Pinterest before this. Okay, this looks like real. This looks like a still frame from some kind of period piece, maybe. That's okay. I'm okay with that if that's a still frame from an old movie. Okay. And then we've got another very generic thing with these bright colors. Look at this background. Like, an artist, like someone with any design sense, would contain the colors to the canvas, right? But the AI is not interested in that. It's interested in just flooding the image with like unnecessary color and everything. It's just, the more of these you see, the more you start to just understand what it's doing, like the trick that it's pulling. So people who are unaccustomed to this might be like, wow, nice colors. Yeah, it has access to all the colors, and it's pulling these colors from far down the line from its image database. It's pulling from artists who actually know what they're doing with colors. I know, like, it's a stereotype of like the hands, but in the first one, they're cutting their own hands. It's just an insult. Look at the pillars behind. They're just, yeah, it's like pillars, but like they're not conforming to any structure. It's fake. It's all fake. It's a lie. This whole page is like a lie. It's lying to me. It's lying to you. If you go onto Pinterest, it's lying to you. You might be thinking, like, why can't I just ignore the AI images? The thing is, let's say this piece here, this could be a real image. I'm not sure. It's a little thumbnail. I'm trying to get inspiration by looking at a lot of images. It could be, but then I'm questioning it now, and I'm like, he looks like he's just melted into the table. That's a bit weird. And so I'm like, is it AI? Is it not? Why is he melting into the table? Why is there the blue hue around? And now you look at it, the paint strokes don't actually make much sense. It might be that's an artist who's trying their very best and they just messed up a little bit. It's difficult to figure it out. I think we should start pushing all of these platforms, especially Pinterest is just one of them. But if you go onto YouTube, any of your search results will be bombarded with these fake movie trailers for like The Simpsons, using bits of stock footage and a lot of AI. We should start campaigning to get our internet back by having a category for AI. If they really don't want to ban AI, they should have a category for AI, because it's a shame to the real photographers out there and the real painters out there who, first of all, have been exploited. But second of all, like, I'm so hesitant now to place praise on any of these pictures. I don't want to get my heart broken, you know? This might be from a real painter, you know, it looks like that, you know, from an easel, but I'm worried. I'm like, I don't want to accidentally start praising a fake. And it's so littered with fakes that I just, instead of showing my appreciation, I just don't. Unless I know that this image here is a real image because it's famous. I think it's by William Blake. If it's not by William Blake, it's by one of his contemporaries. So I know it, right? But this makes the discovery process so treacherous. It's horrible. And I'm not even speaking as a professional here. I'm speaking as someone who genuinely just appreciates art. That's everyone, right? Shouldn't that be everyone? I can't be alone in appreciating the work of artists and craftsmen and photographers and journalists and writers and poets. There's a lot of ways you can tell that it's AI. And I do. And I could go through them bit by bit. I could go through and be like, okay, it's a hot guy, it's a hot girl, very symmetrical, photogenic, not really doing much. That's another thing. It's just got all these furnishings that don't really serve a purpose, like detail that serves no function. The architecture's just melting around, things are melting into each other. There's a lot of ways that you can tell, but I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to have to sort through this. And at just a glance, like I haven't looked into this like closely. There's quite a few ads, of course, but then when you take away the ads, I'd say over 50% of the results that have come up from a very simple search query are AI. They're machine generated. They look so generic. Like on the outside, it's not a good look. It's not a good look. It looks so generic, this page. And look, it's about apprentice and master. The first row has an old man talking to a son. Very generic stuff. Nothing inventive. There's nothing inventive. And then it just goes to crap. A guy in a hood with a bow and arrow. That's not apprentice and master. It's got nothing to do with it. This didn't used to be the case. This is a picture made by someone that has intention. I've seen it before and it's good. Okay, great. They got a few here. Sprinkled in are like real artistic works in amongst the crap. I'm really upset by this. The internet is dying. Anything of value that anyone has to say, whether it be in painting or sculpture or writing, any of it is just getting diluted. It's getting diluted down and down and down until hardly anything that you're seeing on any page has been made by a person. It's just an average. It's just an average of all the works that were made prior to 2010 or 2015 or whenever the last data set was updated. This can't continue. I'm oscillating at all times between it's already lost. The internet does not resemble the internet that I know growing up, versus maybe we can still save it if we really push hard. We all recognize how bad it's become and we reject it. And we put a hard stop on this stuff and we pressure these social media platforms to categorize AI and do some of that filtering for us. Because right now, like every person that comes onto here has to be their own filter. They have to go one by one and look and analyze and use their knowledge of how AI looks. I can do it pretty well. Like I know that this is AI very quickly. That one's obvious, right? Some of the others could be, not sure. It's not obvious straight away. So I need to look deeper. I need to think about it a bit more. When it's like something that seems to have like strong intentionality to it, they're messing up the hand a little bit, but is that just someone who's struggling? Let's have a look. Is this a real person? Right now, everyone is having to do that every time. With every new person that comes onto this page, they are having to apply that filter in their own minds. And I'm talking about to be an appreciator of art, to just be someone who enjoys art. That's all. Not a professional, not a working professional like me, but just someone who enjoys art and appreciates art and wants to connect with other humans. This is what they have to do. But it could be so easy for these social media platforms to categorize their entries and to just do basic image recognition and say, no, we know that one's AI. That's going to automatically have the tag of AI. It's going to automatically have that filter. And the default is going to be to turn that off. So that stuff doesn't go into your feed unless you want it to. And then you have like a toggle at the top of the search results where you say, do you want to include AI images in that? And no one's going to use that toggle because no one wants this AI crap. Everyone wants to make AI, or people who are lazy people, they all want to make AI. They don't want to actually be informed by AI. No one actually wants to be informed by this stuff. Do you realize that? No one wants to be informed by AI because first of all, it's not saying anything. And second of all, it's lying to you. It's deceitful. And third, it's just diluting your results to be just as generic as possible. There's nothing novel about this image. Nothing. I want to steelman this a little bit. You can't accuse me of being like a professional artist who's trying to cope with being replaced. You can't tell me that. Because I haven't said anything about me being a professional and how this is impeding my professional work. This is me as a user of the internet, just a common pedestrian user of the internet, like someone who's looking for artistic inspiration, some connection to human beings, and has been placed into a minefield. Look at this. 17 must-read books for Freemasons. Was this written by a human? Who's making this crap? I think we're going to have to start creating some form of licenses to post onto places. Like sites like Pinterest are going to die, I think. The people are going to stop going on to there. Because I can tell you, until they get their act together, this is the last time I ever open up Pinterest, ever. I'm not going to use it again. Okay? So people are going to be like me. They're going to realize that this is a minefield, and they're going to never go onto Pinterest again. And what we have to then do, we have to build platforms. We have to build the next Pinterest, right? We have to build platforms where there is some form of credential that accounts that post there, that upload there, need to regularly maintain, that says that there is some kind of trustworthiness and accountability to those uploaders, right? And that has to be applied for, and they have to take, they have to take some kind of anti-AI pledge. And by merit, those new social media sites will beat the old ones, because you can't tell me that this is the best that we can do, that this is the best image curation site that we can create. This is terrible. This kind of thing should be so easy to supplant as the go-to image curation place on the internet for people to get creative inspiration and connection. Guys, my hat's in the ring. I'm down to fight this, to either put massive amounts of pressure on these sites because they're complacent and they need more pressure from their users to get their act together, or to just abandon this site and create a new one that actually shows results for what you want, and the results are actually made by people. Over the last 5 years, I have witnessed the slow death of the internet. I'm not happy about it. For you young guys, maybe you went to school during COVID. For you young guys, you might not know what the internet was like in the 2010s. You might have not really been around at that point. You might have not been online. It was wonderful. It was crude at times. Sometimes it felt like it was a little bit amateur, but it was made by real people who really had passion for what they did. Some of them were just doing it part-time. You knew that it was real. Someone had written that thing. They had sat down at a keyboard and written it. Or they had sat down at their drawing tablet and actually drawn it. Or they'd gone into their sketchbook and they'd been like, I'm going to make a drawing today. I've had this idea for a long time and I'm going to draw it now. And it's going to be great and I'm really excited. And then they upload it. It's real human connections. Everything online you saw was real. And now, I don't know, maybe 30% of it is real. The other 70% is just fake. It's just pretending to be real. And it's still demanding your attention. You look at me, this is what you want, right? Look at this. Who needs this picture? Some kind of blogger writing a stupid blog who has no artistic talent or abilities or sensibilities at all, who has never taken an interest in art, and just finds a machine that they can type a prompt into. If it didn't take the creator any time to make, why does it deserve your time? Why should you, as a viewer, be wasting your time with looking at it? If it wasn't even worth taking the time to create, it's all a facade. It's the appearance of hard work. It's the appearance of wisdom. It's the appearance of profundity. This is trying to look like it's profound. It's weird. And every single one of them, every time I see an AI image that could pass for a real one, could theoretically have been made by someone who's just got a little bit of an uneven skill set, every time that happens, it erodes my confidence in what I'm seeing online. And I'm not the only one who has this. Nobody has any confidence in what they're seeing anymore. It's the ultimate postmodernism dystopia. No one can believe what they're seeing, whether it's a complete instant fabrication by an image generator, or if it was actually someone is out there on a computer actually calling out, lighting a beacon and trying to contact other people. We don't know anymore. It's separating us all out. We're all so alone. It makes you feel so alone. You don't know if you're being tricked. Any message that's coming in through your computer screen, you don't know if it's a scam. You don't know if you're being tricked or not. So the result of that is that you just feel so isolated all the time. If I asked you to make an image that's like the most generic image you can possibly think of, could you do a better job than this generated image? No. I don't think you could. It's almost like it wins the award at the most generic crap that nobody needs, that looks pretty, but it serves no purpose, and it says nothing. And then when I scroll down and I'm continuing my search for something worth looking at, it just automatically just a little loading wheel for a second, and then it just loads more. I could scroll for days on end. I could just scroll like this for days and it would just keep loading more. A never-ending supply. And I could close my eyes and pick on one, and it's either an ad or it's a generated image. Oh, 6 chakras generated image. I haven't typed in anything to do with chakras. And chakras, you know, a woman in a yoga pose with it's 15 chakras, because the AI doesn't know how many chakras there are. It hasn't looked into it. It just knows there's a bunch of colors. Look, it's very clear from this video that I am angry about this, and I've been angry about this for a long time. Every now and then there's something that I come across on the internet that just makes me snap. Most of the time I try and avoid this stuff. But I just went on to the place where I used to go for character design inspiration and found that it is a marshland, quagmire. It's a desert when it comes to creativity. But I think anger is our solution, guys. Not despair. Despair doesn't solve anything, but anger actually solves something. If we choose to direct our anger at the people who are responsible for this, who took a quick paycheck in exchange for what is really, it's a public utility at this point, or it should be seen as a public utility, we could change this. We have numbers as users of these platforms. We have numbers. We just need to recognize. First, let's all be on the same page about this. This sucks. This completely sucks. I think we're all in agreement there. Beyond that, if we choose to be angry instead of being in despair, we can actually change it. We got to choose all collectively. Do we boycott these platforms and set up new ones? Or do we pressure the creators, the founders, the CEOs of these Silicon Valley tech companies, and we force them to change this, to create a categorization and an image recognition for generated images and to just have that as an automated thing to filter out all AI images from search results. Look at it. Do you see what I'm seeing? Can you see? Let me go back to the apprentice and master. Okay, let's just see how... Okay, so now that image is right there. If we just scroll down a little bit, it knows from my data that I'm a dude, so it's slightly curating things based on that. I didn't have to scroll down long for it to just become generic. Like ultra generic. There's a little bit of, mixed in there is a little bit of real artist sketches. It should be all that, like all of the images. Well, in this case, it wouldn't be Michelangelo. It would be something to do with the thing that I actually typed for. All right, see you later.